Well, you can imagine that I've been anticipating, as have many of the committee members and league members, anticipating today for quite a long time now. And it was my privilege to be asked to sort of be your master of ceremonies today, and I'm pleased about that because I do have a lot to say about the league. Surprise, surprise. You know, in the middle of the 19th century, some women in our country staged a revolution. They wanted to share their political power with male citizens. The faces of the women you see on the television from the Middle East are the same faces. They're dressed a little differently. Early suffragists were willing to suffer and die and face humiliation just as women are today. They just wanted to be able to feel like their opinions mattered. However, I am sure that these women that you see on your TV screens will not be willing to wait the 70 years that American women waited to be able to influence political power in our country. This year, we celebrate 3 anniversaries. 100 years of the right of women to vote in California. Hear, hear. You will note that that is 9 years before the right to vote was granted to women across the nation. And the suffragists were very active in California, very anxious to make it a privilege of women here, and they voted in 1911. We had a very enlightened governor at that point. His name was Hiram Johnson. And Hiram Johnson was a friend of California citizens up to this day because of the reforms he brought to California. So it's been 100 years since we got the right to vote in California. It's been 91 years since the passage of the 19th Amendment to our Constitution. And it's been 75 years since the women in our area decided to join the political organization known as the League of Women Voters. In 1911, California women were making it known that they may be in charge at home, but they also wanted to be in politics and that men were going to share their power or else. The rights of women and children would not be neglected or discounted in the halls of government. Suffragists from all over the country came to California and tried to get the state to ratify the 19th Amendment. We did ratify the 19th Amendment, and we did give the right to vote in California at the same time. Finally, in 1920, enough women in our country made it clear that they were joining this revolution, and in the realm of politics, women needed to be treated as equals, and the 19th Amendment finally passed. It took years of hard work and many reverses, and even enduring violence, but our foremothers finally succeeded. That same year, in 1920, women met in Seneca, New York, and formed the league whose purpose was to assure that women would be informed voters. Is that an interesting thought? They did not need to rely on direction from their husbands or employers in order to be a voter. You have seen the evidence of the amazing accomplishments of the women of Pasadena and the surrounding areas in the ensuing years. What motivated these women to start and continue an organization that in the beginning generated mostly scorn? The same thing that motivates the women today you see on the streets of the Middle East shouting for changes in the way women are treated, that was the same motivation they had. They wanted to be treated as equals at home and in the public square. I'll bet that most of you men have noticed that women want to be treated as equals, especially in politics. We have always wanted to be thought of as having enough brains to function well in our society and in our politics. So it seems to me that it was kind of a no-brainer, as the kids say, for women to fight for the right to participate in elections. But what is much more significant to me is that once women were given that right, they were motivated to do something else, and that was to do a good job at exercising that right. Imagine that. Imagine further that women, and now the many men who have joined us, are still motivated to do a good job of exercising their right to fully participate as citizens in our country. Women and men are more motivated than ever to promote the idea that informed voters make democracy work. Informed voters make democracy work. We still do everything we can in the League of Women Voters to encourage citizen participation in government. And how grateful we are to all those who came before us and maintained their motivation and commitment and brought us to this anniversary. We will move now beyond this anniversary, and many challenges face us as an organization and as a democratic society. We need to continue to participate in democracy in a significant way. So we need to renew our motivation to stay dedicated to citizen participation in this democracy, and still, we may need to change our approach a little. We need to redouble our efforts to help our fellow citizens avoid the pitfalls of demagoguery that takes the place of information. We need to redouble our efforts to make sure that more citizens are aware of the goals of our organization and are willing to join us in our efforts. We need to redouble our efforts to function as a town crier about the constant threats to our democracy. Will we continue to meet these needs? Of course we will. Did you need to ask? Next, I would like to introduce a longtime League member and a friend of the League for sure, and that is Mayor Bill Bogard. Bill and his wife have lived and worked. Bill and his wife have lived, worked, and raised a family and shared their talents in our community through volunteering for many, many years. Bill is about to be reelected unopposed to his 4th term as mayor of Pasadena. So we're really pleased to have Bill with us today. Bill?